Coach Amber, and welcome to the Meet RX Success Story podcast. Today we have Coach Fernanda with us. Hi, Fernanda.
Hi, how are you? I'm so glad to be here with you. Thank you so much.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on. So let's get started. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what your health and your life was like prior to starting a meat-based diet? Were you having any issues or like high blood pressure or whatever it may be?
Yes, for sure. You know, I've always suffered from acne since I was very young. And when I was in school, my mom take me to a lot of doctors to see me. And there was always a pill for that. So it was been the terrible issue I had for all of my life. And when I started medical school, I was reading about the vegetarian diet. So of course I didn't know how to do a proper search in that time, and I decided to become a vegetarian. So you know, because I was having this trouble with this acne trouble, and beside the acne trouble, I was dealing with asthma too. So those two were my two conditions, terrible conditions, but the side of the asthma, I didn't have so much concern. I was concerned about my skin in that time. So I was searching for the cure of that disease. So I was with a lot of treatments, with a lot of pills, and being a doctor too, I didn't study proper the human body because I thought that being or not eating meat or being a vegetarian was good for my health. And you know, the first 2 years, I had the honeymoon vegetarian that a lot of people talk about, that when I see some improve in my health. But after 2 years of that, I started having low energy. My acne starting to get worse. My asthma started to get worse too. And I was being kind of depressed. And I want to heal myself so much that I truly believe that being vegetarian will be good for my health. And so I took a little more extreme diet, and I went vegan. And I only could handle being vegan almost a year. And you know, and I was asking myself, how, I'm eating so well, I'm eating so good, the best for my body, that my skin is so terrible. I still have the acne. I was even more depressed. I definitely didn't have energy. And I ended up being 9 years vegetarian. And after 9 years, I realized that actually that wasn't working. I was taking pills for depression. I had to supplement for the gym because I was too skinny, and I wasn't feeling good. I feel sad. I had low self-esteem, and I couldn't realize that was the deficient of a lot of nutrients that I was having by having this vegetarian diet. So I was really sick. I was young. I was 28 when I realized that, and I was really sick. How could a 20-year-old is having so trouble with hormones, mood, depression, the acne is still worse, and the asthma too. So I get to a point that I said to myself, I need to find some answer, because in that time I already was a doctor, and the only thing I did it to myself was prescribing me drugs for all of those conditions. So it was a point that I said to myself, well, this isn't doing right. This isn't right for my health. And all of those issues I had, can you imagine?
Yeah, that is a very common story I hear a lot. And I think it's really interesting, you being a doctor, and apparently you've been taught that in a nutrition class at some point, that eating lots of vegetables and fruits and et cetera were really good, and moving more plant-based is really good. But
Yes.
it's interesting that you had kind of opposite effects after a while. It makes sense that, you know, you had really good results in the beginning because you got rid of a lot of the other stuff that was not so good. So that makes sense. But yeah, I
Yes.
think it's really cool that you're a doctor, and instead of just believing in that, you actually did some research on your own and experimentation, and you look absolutely gorgeous. So,
Oh, thank you.
but we'll get to the
It's
good
the
part
meat.
later. But right, right. Okay, so on a typical day, can you give us an idea of what you eat? Like, how did you implement the diet, and how many times a day do you eat? Did you have any trouble transitioning? Anything you want to talk about? Do you include dairy? Whatever you want to say.
Oh, okay. You know, when I have the transition for a carnivore diet, it's really something that I don't forget about it because, well, I went 9 years vegetarian, but after being vegetarian, I was like a year and a half low carb, and I was 6 months on keto diet, and then I made a transition for a carnivore diet. So, but still on a low carb and a keto, I ate a little meat. I was like, oh, I don't want to eat so much meat. And then I was on keto, and I still have my acne problems. And you know, I was 15 years of my life trying to search what is the trouble, what is causing me this. So when I transitioned to the carnivore, I couldn't eat my teeth, my jaw. I didn't have power, and then that point I realized that my jaw got the form when I was a vegetarian. I have like because you don't eat meat, then you don't use your mandibular to to eat. So the first 2 weeks, my teeth hurt a lot, and there's one night that I started crying because I couldn't believe how damaged I did it to myself. Could you imagine that you are eating meat, but I felt like I was like a 2-year-old having brand new teeth. So that for me, then at that point, I said, "Oh my God, I private my body for so many years of this essential nutrition, and of course this is a consequence of that, and that is the only thing bad for the transitions." But I started studying a lot of ketogenic diet. I studied to the point that I understand the biochemistry of the cell, and then I couldn't believe what I was learning, because we learn in medical school about this, but we learn in the first, in the second year. But when you are a doctor, you just get of the medical school prescribing because you forgot how your body works. And when I started to study again, I realized, oh my God, our body are made of protein, our body are made of fat. So how come I was so brainwashed as a doctor that I couldn't see the real how our body works? So I didn't care about the pain I was suffering with my teeth, because I know it was the right thing. I know I am actually in the right way. So it was only one time that I was crying, because, but not because of the pain, because I was like, I don't know how to explain you. I was frustrated of being in such a lot of doctors, of being a doctor too, and realize that the cure of the prevention or the heal of the diseases starts of what we eat. So it's like, it was a great journey beginning on the carnivore diet, because I was sure I'm going to heal all of my issues. So I explained it to my husband too. So he started with me this journey. So and we are now both almost a year carnivores, happy carnivores. We don't change a beef for nothing. And we like to eat nose to tail. And something I didn't like to eat, it was liver. And not because I didn't like it, but because my mom never gave me liver and I didn't like the smell. But when I put into my mind that this is what is going to heal me, not because I just study or it's because it's a trend in diet, because I study and I knew exactly what I put into my body when I was eating a liver. So I said, okay, I didn't eat, I didn't like it, but I will try. And now I love to eat liver. I eat heart too. It has a lot of benefits. All of the nutrients we need besides the protein we got it in the organ meat, and I eat kidney too, but a daily basis I need ribeye. I like the fattier cuts, and because, well, the cholesterol is a molecule that heals your body. And I know how bad a standard American diet or a vegetarian diet harms us as a woman. And actually I eating now more fattier cuts because I realized that we as a woman need a lot of fat because of hormones. And I feel better when I eat ribeyes. I like T-bones, everything. I love meat. Well, at the beginning, I started eating once because the transition is still difficult because I didn't have the enzymes to digest. It was kind of difficult. I lost a lot of weight. But after a month, I started feeling better. I started to digest better. And now I eat like between 500 grams to 75, 70, 50 grams, sorry, 750 grams of meat. But there's sometimes that I train, I like to do a lot of exercise, and when I weightlifting, I eat more. But you know, I feel blessed that here in my country, I live in Bolivia, and you know, we can find a lot of kidney, heart, liver. I make some jelly from collagen of the foot of the cow. And we here have a great quality of meat, and we have all the access to organ meat. So I eat a lot of that.
That's awesome. It is wonderful that you have access to quality organs and meat like that. I know a lot of people have some difficulty with that, and you're so lucky you like liver. I've tried, I just can't. I've tried so many different, I just can't. And one other comment that I found absolutely fascinating about what you were talking about is the jaw thing. I
Yes.
had not heard of that, and it makes sense, but I had just never heard anybody say that before. Very, very interesting. Okay,
Yes, and I
so
have a before and after picture of my jaw. So now I'm a carnivore. I have jaw. When I was vegetarian, it was like this was. I have a picture, so it's amazing that.
fascinating, absolutely fascinating. You should put that up. That's really cool. Okay, so now that we know the kind of issues you were having, tell us what life is like now. How is your health? How are those things that you talked about, your asthma, the skin issues, all that kind of thing? How is that all improved?
Well, it's been a great journey. Yeah, when you think you are better, the next month you are even better. And I think that everybody has its own time to heal. I think I am young, but I made so much damage to my body that I'm still healing. But nevertheless, the first month I've been on a carnivore diet, my skin got way a lot of better. It's impressive. It's amazing. I have some terrible acne here in my neck, and now I don't have any. I was ashamed to use this clothes because I have acne in my shoulders, in my back. Now I don't have any. My menstrual cycles now are definitely so good. I don't have pain. Before I have to take pills for that, and now I don't take any pill. My mood it's really improved a lot. My self-esteem, my asthma. I don't remember the last time I used my inhaler, and that's something that it's incredible because it's so related with our gut. And as I heal my asthma, of course my skin is healing, and because I'm not doing nothing of harm, not even with plants, right? Because in a ketogenic diet I still was eating some vegetables, and for me the carnivore diet was definitely the best thing. I always said, oh my god, if I knew that when I was 15, when I was 18. And well, I don't care, but because I know I'm being regenerating now with the best fuel I could give to my body. So as I said, my asthma, I don't remember the last time I used my inhaler. My acne, you know, my skin, I can't believe I was like, I'm in my 30s and still have acne. What's going on? And I thought that it was a condition that I would have to deal all of my life. And now it's like, it's almost a miracle. And my jaw improved. It's that's incredible. I have a lot of energy. I have more muscle mass because I never left the gym. I always like to do weightlifting. But when I was vegetarian, I stopped being 2 3 weeks and I was so skinny. And now I feel like much more stronger. And that's it. I feel more happy. The mood is better. My self-esteem is better. I had terrible weak nails. Oh, I had a lot of condition being a vegetarian. I have I didn't get to grow my nails didn't grow well. My hair falls a lot. Was fall. Oh, I'm sorry. I my hair was weak too. So now I have a lot of hair. I'm feeling great, and besides that, it works. And I study, and it's the nutrient our body needs to work properly. So it's amazing that you give the essential nutrients to your body, and your body not only responds on a physical way, but a mental way too. And that's something that all carnivores can say, right? We feel so energetic, and we want to share all of this with the other people.
I absolutely love that you brought up the whole mental aspect. I think a lot of people don't put as much emphasis that should be. And when you said, I feel happy, that is the best. I absolutely love to hear that. Thank you so much, Fernanda, for sharing your story. I think it's just amazing what you're doing and experiencing, and I appreciate you sharing with us.
Oh, I'm so happy to share. I want to share all of the information. I think the community is getting bigger and bigger, and we are now communicating online. And this community only tends to get bigger because it works on a scientific way, it works on a biological way, and it works on a practical way. So this is the health path we need to take our patients, our clients.
I love that. That is a perfect ending statement. That was perfect. I could not agree with you more. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Bye,
It was my
Fernanda.
pleasure. Bye.